Hi, Democrats. Today is Monday, March 27th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. Happy Monday. So we are 1 week and 1 day away from an election happening on April 4th. There's an election happening on April 4th. If you've not been paying attention, you didn't request your absentee ballot, you don't know what's going to be on your ballot, it's not too late. Go out to the Oklahoma State Election Board, click on the voter portal, type in your name and your birthday, and it will pull up your sample ballot. And that's a good way for you to find out if you have an election next Tuesday. So pay attention, show up every single time that your precinct is open. You should have cast a ballot, either in person, early in person, or by absentee. That's my little PSA for the day. So, and it goes along with what I want to talk about today. Elections have consequences. Elections have consequences. Everything that happens in your life just about is affected by an elected official, right? We've been talking about the crazy utility rates. That's affected by your elected official not blocking the crazy utility rates. We talk about the potholes. On my route to and from downtown, there's a pothole that would eat my entire car. That is based on elected officials making a decision to do something about it or not. We talk about all the craziness that is happening in schools. School board members are elected officials. Everything. Who you can marry when, apparently your bodily autonomy, all of that is affected by elections. And I think one of the things that I want to talk about today with regards to elections is to remind everyone that representation matters. We usually say that in a positive light, right? I am proud of being the first African-American person to represent a recognized political party in the state of Oklahoma. I'm very proud of that, because if you can see it, you can be it. And so I'm proud of being a member of the Oklahoma Democratic Party. We take great pains to make sure that most ethnic groups and religious groups have a place in our party and have representation in leadership. Because if you can see it, you can be it. And so usually when we talk about representation mattering, it's in a positive light. But in light of today's events, as most of you know, that there was yet another deadly school shooting in Tennessee that happened today. There were 3 students and 2 teachers killed, along with the shooter. I'm talking about this as it refers to representation, because here is a picture of the congressman that represents the district where this active shooting happened. This is his Christmas card. He and his family, had to, for some unknown reason, pose for Christmas with their long guns. And so the folks in his district feel perfectly comfortable with all of their many, many long guns. And when it comes out, when we start talking about it, when we stop weeping and counting the number of children who are dead, people are going to go back to it's not the gun, it's the person, and illness and blah, blah, blah. But they live in a district that elected a guy with a false resume. George Santos wasn't the only Republican congressman to be elected in this cycle with a resume full of falsehoods. This man's resume was questioned quite a bit as well, but he got elected. This man is, proud gun owner for no real reason, because it didn't look like they were hunting to me. It didn't look like they were providing food. They were standing in front of their Christmas tree. This is what he represents, and this is what is in that district. And consequently, there was a deadly school shooting. Yes, I am making the connection. I am not blaming the congressman. I am not saying that it is his fault. What I am saying is that what you foment, what you encourage, you have to be careful about, because it could result in bad actions. How many more children, how many more teachers must be sacrificed so people like Congressman Ogle can brandish their weapons? They can hoard weapons. They can have 100,000,005 weapons. How many children, how many teachers, how many people at the grocery store, the movie theater, the nightclub, the doctor's office, the mall have to be sacrificed so that folks like him can take those pictures? How many? What is it going to take? What is it going to take for us to have real common sense gun laws, right? What is it going to take? I heard discussion on NPR today where they were saying, well, the horses left the barn. We can't ban assault rifles because there are so many out there. No, we're not trying hard enough, right? Just from the time that I heard that to the next stoplight, I thought, okay, we can make everybody who has one register, re-register. And then if you're caught with one after the registration, you get in trouble. If you try to buy one, you get in trouble. We don't have to give up. We don't have to cede that there's so much bad out there that we just have to give up, and we have to sacrifice more students, more teachers, more people who are trying to enjoy a movie or a nightclub or go to the doctor's office. We don't have to cede. We don't have to just decide it has to happen. We can vote for folks. We can vote for folks who believe in responsible gun legislation. Hear the words I'm saying: responsible gun legislation. I'm not saying ban all guns and go door to door and collect all the guns. I'm saying responsible gun legislation, reasonable gun legislation, common sense gun legislation. I don't think that we have to give up. And I think if you're watching me, you don't think we have to give up on reasonable gun sense legislation. But as long as we keep electing who we elect, or in Oklahoma, letting folks run and get elected because we don't show up to vote, that as long as we keep doing that, we're going to keep getting this. So you know where we are. We're at the part of my conversation where I encourage you to get involved. I encourage you to get involved so that when we have actions at the Capitol, you're notified. When these bills come out and we're doing press releases and making statements and doing actions to demand common sense gun laws, you're notified. Sign up for our newsletter, okdemocrats.org. Start there. Just sign up for the newsletter so you know when we're talking about it. Now is the time for you to get involved in your Democratic Party. Now, to the things that I was going to talk about before this sensible loss of life crossed my threshold. A month ago, when the governor was talking about ESG, I have to admit to you guys, I had no idea what that was. Didn't know. But what ESG is about is social governance. It's about employees and employers having rules and boards and leadership that represents the entire nation, that represents who we are. And it's about making sure that we take care of our employees. So it seems like that shouldn't be a thing that our governor is opposed to. And I couldn't figure out why he was so mad about it, because I looked it up and I thought, well, who's mad about this? Well, our governor's mad about it. And here's why. Because he supports the culture war bills and laws that are getting passed in our state. He supports all of this anti-LGBTQ stuff. And he brags about being the most right to life state. He brags about all of being a gun sanctuary state. But yet those are the very reasons that the companies that he's trying to woo to our state won't come. That it doesn't feel like a safe place. or it doesn't feel like a safe place for their entire family. And so they don't come. And so Senator Treat and his committee to examine and investigate and why businesses aren't coming here. And thank God we have reasonable people in Senator Kay Floyd and Senator Julia Court on that committee. We don't need a committee. We don't need a big study to find out why folks aren't here. Folks aren't coming, and they're telling us why. And it is because this is not a hospitable place to bring new business. If part of your family identifies as LGBTQIA2S+, not a great place for them. If your family is racially diverse, not a good place for them. If you want your kids to be able to compete nationally in education and scholarships to colleges, this may not be the place. Now, I live in Oklahoma on purpose. And so I'm not here to bash my state, but I am here. It is because I live here on purpose and I want it to be a better place that I am speaking up and saying something. Our governor is being ridiculous. Senator Treat is being ridiculous. As Maya Angelou said, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. These companies are telling us why they're not coming here. We don't need to be other reasons. Believe them. They're telling us they're not coming because we're anti-LGBTQIA2S+, because we don't believe in bodily autonomy for our trans citizens or our women. Because we don't believe in teaching full history. They're telling us why they're not coming. If we truly want business to come here, they've given us a cheat sheet. They've told us what we need to do, and we need to stop pretending like we don't see it. Stop looking for some other magical number. Stop trying to figure out if we could buy them with more tax incentives. The answer is make our state more hospitable to commerce. That simple. It's real easy. They're telling us. Off my soapbox. All righty. So along the lines, Oklahoma ranks number 45 in the number of students per capita who fill out the FAFSA application, FAFSA, who completed all the way through. That's the first step towards getting financial aid. That's one of the first things they do, that, after you decide what college, or while you're deciding what college you're going to go to, you fill out your FAFSA form so you can figure out some help and funding. We're number 45 in filling that out. And it's not because our state is so rich that everybody can afford to go to college on their own. It's because we're not encouraging people to go to college. That breaks my heart. That makes me sad. Democrats believe in economic opportunity, and education is one of the first steps towards economic opportunity. We're not encouraging folks to go to college. I am encouraging folks, but as a state, it sounds like we are not. And then the governor was bragging this weekend about how Oklahoma is in the top 10 and what we pay our physicians. But here's the real truth. We have to pay our physicians so much just to get them to come here, just to get them to stay here. It's all about supply and demand. This is not a place for physicians. Every legislative session, there's a bill written to try and threaten physicians. If you do this, we're going to take away your license and we're going to fine you. If you do this, we're going to take away your license and we're going to fine you. If we do this, we're going to take away your license, we're going to fine you. That's what's happening here. And so if you're a physician and you're looking at coming to Oklahoma and you have some other choice, there are only 4 states worse than us. You look at some other choice, that you have all these other states that you can choose from where your license isn't going to be as threatened as it is in Oklahoma. We can be better, Oklahoma. We can be. We just have to have the will to elect better. We have to have the will to participate and run and be better. So again, another plea, get involved. If you're thinking you might want to run, give us a call. 405-427-3366. Call the office. Give us a call. You think you might want to run, or you think you know somebody who might want to run. Now's the time to be talking about running next year. Now's the time for us to be helping people get their ducks in a row and get ready to run in the 2024 election cycle. The only way we change what's happening, is that we elect better. And we can. We just have to have the will. Okay, thanks so very much for joining me. We have some really interesting things happening on our YouTube page and on our lives in the next week. Tonight, Scott Hamilton will be joined by Aaron Michael Baker. This is the outspoken teacher. If you're on Facebook or Twitter, you've seen him. The outspoken teacher who is outwardly contradicting, pointing out the things that our current superintendent of public instruction is doing, but he's speaking out, even at risk to his own employment. I think it'll be a great conversation that's happening tonight at 6:30. Join Scott Hamilton on the Hamilton Report, where he'll be joined by Aaron Michael Baker. You can join on Scott's Facebook page, the party's Facebook page, or the party's YouTube page, which is OK Democrats. Love to see you there. Tomorrow, I will be joined by Oklahoma County's Democratic candidate for court clerk in Oklahoma County, and that is Pastor Derek Scobie. He'll be joining me tomorrow to talk more about his campaign. So I hope you'll join Scott tonight. Join me tomorrow at 4:15. In the meantime, you guys have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow at 4:15.